So now we're pleased to have Ashley present part 2 of her series, Healing the Divine Feminine and Divine Male Wounding. Ashley, over to you.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here, and it's such an honor to just share the light with all of you. Last week we talked about in ways to increase the magnetic field, and we talked about having a shift in our frequencies. You know, how to jump into higher frequencies, and we also talked about there's been scarring and wounding in the divine male and the divine feminine. And last week was a little bit more linear because I was talking about a lot of the mysteries. And let me know if you can't hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So just raise your hand if you can't hear me, and I'll pick up my voice. So So last week was a little bit more linear because of kind of going over the mysteries from ancient Egypt to India and to all parts of the world. And the mysteries have kind of unfolded in different varieties with different cultures and different times, but it's all to help us be sustained in the light, to help us to reach our full potential, and to help us to have more of a heart opening. And as we know, the Christed seed was planted a long, long time ago, and it's been a long time waiting to be flourished. And this is the time now. This is the new era when the Christ consciousness is being birthed, and I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing, like, last November there was such a tremendous amount of new awakenings with people, and I was traveling to different cities, and it was just mind-blowing to see how many people, like, in masses are having awakenings. There's books out right now about, there's so many different types of awakenings. It could be, like one housewife was just on a farm, looking out the window, washing her dishes, and she had just this profound awakening and bliss happen to her, So that's not linear, we don't know how it happens exactly. We know what we hear, from masters and from yogis, and there's just so many ways to expand our consciousness, so many ways. And there's a lot of different ideas about it. For me, I know that through diet and moving my energy, just really getting that energy moving in my body, not letting it get stuck and stagnant, and meditation and prayer, that all helps, So that's what we talked about last week. Right now we're in the new era. It's happening right now. And so there's been a lot of beautiful messages coming forth from the Christ consciousness, from Jesus, from Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. I refer to Jesus as Yeshua. That's his Aramaic name, and I really resonate with that. They're like my family, I just feel so akin with them, and I love them so much. There's been a lot of messages coming through about the wounding for the divine male and the divine feminine, and there's so much compassion. What's become very clear to me is, well, first of all, Mary Magdalene, she healed her wound. And she went through a lot, even with the apostles. She felt very alienated at times because she was a woman. She had a lot of wounding to heal, and also, of course, the largest wounding of all, which was to watch her beloved, be killed. And she was still human, and that was very difficult for her to go through. There's a wonderful book called the Magdalene Manuscript. I think a lot of you have read that already. Very, very beautiful accounting of her story. There's also some Pamela Cribby. She's a very well-respected, pure channeler with the Christed consciousness. She lives in the Netherlands, and she has written several books on Jesus and the Jesus channelings and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. And there's a lot of other material out there, but right now is very pivotal. Right now they're really coming through a lot of people. They're bringing forth a message. So Mary Magdalene had healed her wounding, and so she wants to help us to heal ours. And I'm going to talk first about the divine feminine wounding, and then we're going to move into the male wounding. With the divine feminine, throughout lifetimes, not just this lifetime, but lifetimes, actually, this is the lifetime where we're coming fully into our full expression and freedom for the first time. This is the lifetime right now in this new era that we're the most empowered we've ever been as the divine feminine. But we carry scarring in our first, second, and third, mainly our belly. Our belly is what Mary Magdalene and also Yeshua has talked about. Yeshua has spoken very beautifully about the feminine wounding. And it's from, how he put it, being degraded and having violence done to us. That's not exactly how he put it, but I can't remember exactly, but it was about violence and being degraded, you know, and it came through oppression and suppression. And this scarring came from past lives. I mean, it was a lot worse in past lives. The planet was a lot denser then, a lot denser. And, you know, there was a time when women were burned at the stake, you know, they were being called witches because they were referred to also as wild women. In Jesus' time, there was a term that went around at that time referring to wild women. And Mary Magdalene explained that what that meant was that women that were independent and very hearted. They lived their lives according to their heart, very passionately, and were just so hearted in helping humanity. And it was not a common thing in that time, so they were referred to as wild women. And what was I right before that? Anyway, the wounding and scarring has been very, very deep. Oh yeah, it was about, you know, burning women at the stake. So this is what we've carried forward, you know, into this lifetime. Now, many of us have been healing a lot in past lifetimes, this lifetime. It became very apparent to me why I was born with a certain set of circumstances in my lifetime. I had the most perfect parents to do what I was going to be doing later on in life. Little did I know. But I had a Hispanic father who I adore. He's a phenomenal person. He's 85 years old. And he was very dominant, very oppressive, you know, very insecure because he had just moved to the United States, and he held, you know, kind of large offices in politics in Ecuador. But in the United States, it was like he was nothing, you know, so he had to start over. And so that filtered through the whole family. And my mother was a victim, and she was very suppressed, oppressed. And so I was an empath as a child. And watching these dynamics, you know, little did I know that they were going to teach me so much about my own healing that was to take place. And so I got, you know, I ended up getting married and getting into an abusive relationship. And I held that victim identity for so long. And it took so much on my part I was so passionate about learning and expanding my soul. And I was, you know, very spiritual, but not as conscious or awake. And I just did a lot of modalities to learn and to heal myself. And it's an exciting time for me because now I'm understanding why all that was in place for me. I'm able now to have so much compassion for abusers, for the, you know, men are abused. And it works both ways. It has to do with the polarities, you know. And that's been explained a lot, but I'm not going to go into that topic today. But mainly just wanting to set the kind of the tone that both the feminine and the male have both been wounded. And so with the divine feminine, because we were oppressed, suppressed, and there was violent acts done, we have completely shut down our first, second, and third. And what Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary were saying is that it's no accident that a lot of feminine light workers, it's very difficult for them to be grounded. It's very difficult. Now, I thought I was just, you know, hyper, you know, and I always was an A-type, you know, years ago when I worked in offices in Los Angeles. But now it's all like becoming very clear, you know. It has to do with that wounding. Well, it's very hard. Like I have to work triple to ground myself. I have to do so much work daily to keep grounded, you know. So this is an alignment with the feminine wounding. It's not being able to get grounded, and I see it in so many women. I know with my friends who are all light workers, we do a lot of work on grounding, like daily. And how it's happened for the divine male is you know, in past lifetimes, you know, certainly this lifetime, but it goes way back, where somewhere along the line, a picture was painted that a man had to be strong, and that he had to be more mental, you know, like really smart, intelligent, sharp, and strong. And when that picture got painted and men started trying to take on this identity, it wasn't really natural to their souls, because men are very hearted, and they're empaths. So what started happening over time is men started shutting down their empathic abilities and their hearts in order to put on that persona to be strong. And they weren't allowing themselves to have their feelings. There was a book a long time ago called Men Eat Cheesecake Too. I don't know if any of you men remember that one, but there have been books written about this, and there's also, there have been a lot of healing men's groups. I know that when I was in LA 20 years ago, there was some beautiful work being done also with Bradshaw. You've heard of Bradshaw, but where giving men permission to feel their emotions and to express their emotions. I was with a man for 10 years who he had that whole persona, you know, and he was like a prisoner in his own body. It was, you know, and he could not express his emotions. Like, he couldn't even allow me to give him a massage. Like, he was so really, he was so detached from his emotions, you know, and he thought he had to be this pillar, this strength, you know, and you know, after 10 years, I finally wore him down. And then I guess, you know, our agreement was done at that time. And then he ended up marrying a beautiful Greek girl. He's Greek, and they had a family. But I helped him to have a heart opening, you know. And, you know, that's what we're all here for. We can help each other, you know, to heal as the divine feminine, the divine male. And that's what is upon us right now in this new era. We're helped to just have compassion and love for one another, and to help each other to heal. So there are conscious men certainly here in the Kootenays, you know, that aren't experiencing it as severely as other men. My brother is such a beautiful soul. He's such a beautiful soul. He's an empath, and I watched him go through all that, and now he's fully into his heart, and he's a shaman, and he works the land in Sedona, and he plays the native flute, and it's just so beautiful to see him free. You know, he's freed his soul from these constraints that weren't ever part of him. You know, we take on these identities, they're not even a part of who we are, you know. So that's where we're at right now. It's very big right now, the healing of the feminine and the male, and helping one another to recognize, or just to take time on your own and to see how that wounding has affected you, you know. I see where I'm at. I see how much I've healed so much, you know, and I see what I still need to heal, and yet I feel safe enough within myself to do that, and to do that openly, you know, with my brothers and sisters, you know, and that's what it's all about. So having said that, I'd like to go ahead and move into work with the masters. I'm going to be working with our Divine Mother, Father God, our beloved friend. I'm going to be working with the Christ consciousness with beloved Yeshua, and Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and also Isis, and Archangel Michael, and Saint Germain. And Saint Germain is the keeper of the violet flame, which transforms and transmutes dense energy. So like I was talking about last week, what will happen is when we do experience trauma, our energy gets stuck. And so if we don't work with that energy and dissolve it, or help to loosen it up and relieve it, it'll just keep piling up, and that's how we start to shut down our heart, you know. And I have certainly experienced that, and I still have to work on my heart opening, you know. I mean, it's a lifetime of work, right? The beauty is that we don't have to wait till we're perfect to start teaching, or to start sharing ourselves, you know. And I was told that several times because I'm a perfectionist, or at least I used to be. And I thought everything has to be in place before, you know, I start sharing myself with the world, but it's not true, you know, because it's forever, you know, it never ends. It's
always divinely
right, lifetime after lifetime. We're always healing, we're always growing, we're always expanding as souls. So I'd like to start by just asking us all to take a nice, deep, slow breath into our diaphragm. And thank you for that beautiful grounding earlier. That was very helpful. And again, we're connecting into Mother Earth. Let's take a line of light from our heart, and let's anchor that right into the crystalline core of the earth, and let's anchor that into a platinum star in the crystalline core of the earth. And let's just draw up Mother Gaia's energies, all her life force energy, all the soil, the minerals, and bring that up into our first chakra like a feed line, and into our second and our third. Just saturating our first, second, and third chakras, helping us to just get deeply rooted and sink in. And moving that up into our heart now. And now into our throat. Into our third eye and our crown. And now all this earth energy, all the minerals are feeding our whole body system, all our chakras, just saturating us in the minerals, in the soil, just becoming one with Mother Gaia. Moving right up into our crown. And now this feed line goes all the way up past our crown, which is our 8th, to the 9th, to the 10th, to the 11th, to the 12th, to the 13th, 14th, and 15th dimension. We're going to anchor that right into our omnipresence, omniscient God presence. All that we are in our Creator, Divine Mother, Father, God. And now just let this God presence, the Holy Spirit, just come down through that feed line. Let it just pour right into our crown chakra, our third eye, our throat, our heart. Let it feed your heart and just fill your heart for the work we're going to do. Going into our third, our second, and out through our first. So now we have this beautiful line of light anchored into Mother Gaia and anchored into a divine source. And we're being fed from above and below, and the energies are mixing to help us to balance, to help us to have a nice balance. As above, so below. I call forth Divine Mother, Father God, beloved friend, Yeshua, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, and Isis. I call forth Saint Germain and Archangel Michael. I call forth all our God-sanctioned guides, and I ask that all our higher selves work together around this circle, that all our higher selves, each one of us, connect with one another in this circle, in this sacred circle. The energy is coming in very, very powerfully. I feel it. All our guides are here, our God-sanctioned guides, and I call forth our guardian angels, and all that which serves us in our highest good. Take a nice deep breath in and just anchor right into your diaphragm, your tummy. And as you exhale, you're just releasing any energy that is stagnant or that needs to leave you at this time. I'd like to call forth the threefold flame, the pink flame of the Mother, the blue flame of the Father, and the golden flame of the Son. I call forth this threefold flame to anchor into our hearts. We receive the Mother, the Father, the Son, and all the frequencies that are associated with this matrix. We receive this in our hearts. And now let this threefold flame expand in your heart, slowly, really embodying it, the purity, the unconditional love, love in the purest form, undefiled. Now, as this threefold flame becomes larger, the pink flame is very vibrant in the Mother, And the blue flame is like a sapphire blue. And the Father, balancing our divine male and our divine female. And the golden of the Christ, of the Son, brings forth all the purity, sanctification, glorification. And now just allow this threefold flame to expand out in front of you. Just gently, just feel the expansion behind you, to the right and to the left, above and below. Feel this threefold flame of the Mother, Father, Son as a sphere. This is who you are. We are souls, and we are souls expanding. We agreed to take on this experiment, to come to Earth, and to be in these dense bodies, to learn things that our soul wanted to learn in order to expand further. We agreed to be here and to experience transforming density into light, to have that beautiful experience. Keep breathing in nice and deeply, and let this just expand around you. Feel what it's like to be a soul, unencumbered by your body. I am thine, thine are mine. I am thine, thine are mine. I am thine, thine are mine. I am the light, I serve the light. I am no longer defined by my outer world. Now allow yourselves for a moment in this sacred protected space. Feel yourselves just floating and going up into the cosmos, gently, for one moment to just experience where we came from. We're all stars. To go back home and to remember our home. To experience ourselves as a sphere of light, just floating in the galaxy. This galaxy is like a dark, dark, black blue, full of stars. The stars are very distant. And as we float, imagine the silence so powerful that it's deafening. This is who we are. And anytime we like, we can connect with that. To remind ourselves that we're souls just having a human experience, and that we're not our bodies. And one day soon we'll return home again. And now let's slowly travel from the galaxy back down, bringing our soul, calling our soul back into our bodies, being guided right in through our crown chakra, into our third eye, and just anchor right into the soles of your feet and return back into the room. And take a nice deep breath in, and just release anything that needs to be released at this time. And now I ask Archangel Michael to surround us in the sacred fire of love for purification, sanctification, and miracles. Thank you, Archangel Michael. And beloved Saint Germain, saturate our fields, saturate our atoms, our tissues, our nerves, our cells, our bloodstream, and our bones with the violet flame. Transform and transmute anything dense, anything that needs to leave our space at this time, that does not serve us in our highest good. Thank you, beloved. Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, our front center, beloved Jesus. We have all the masters very present right now. The energy is very high right now in this room. Mary Magdalene leads us now. Mother Mary brings forth the emerald green healing ray with Archangel Raphael. And Mary Magdalene streamlines this into all of the divine feminine wounding, into our power center, our third chakra, our bellies. The focus is pinpoint. She's focusing into each one of our bellies for the divine feminine. Mother Mary and Archangel Raphael are coming in to work on us. They want you to know that there's no fear here. There's nothing to fear. This is a very gentle process, and they'll continue to work with you when you go home and to help you heal anything that needs to be healed in this lifetime to support you in your soul expansion. They're saturating our power center, our third chakra, and the emerald green healing energy. Saturating the wounds and the scars, bringing in lots of light and love and understanding and wisdom and spiritual maturity to help you to understand why you went through the things you went through, why we all did. All women have been affected, and what we can learn from this, and how this is serving to expand our soul. And now we move into the second chakra, right below the third, bringing that emerald green healing energy from Archangel Raphael and Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene directing. Releasing any blocks from our second chakra. Releasing the walls that we put up in our first, second, and third to protect ourselves. They're saying that it's safe now, that there's no struggle, that there doesn't need to be any struggle, there doesn't need to be any fighting to defend yourselves. We can be at peace. We can be powerful with grace and with love in our hearts. We can fully embrace our divine power with grace, with peacefulness. It's in our vulnerability that we have our greatest strength, allowing ourselves to become more and more vulnerable, to open our hearts. Embody this now. And now moving down into the first chakra to help us to be deeply rooted and deeply grounded, to dissolve the matrices of fear. Saint Germain is now coming in with his violet flame, helping to dissolve these matrices of fear. Archangel Michael's right along next to him, right alongside of him with his sacred fire of love, just assisting Saint Germain with the purification and the dissolving of the fear matrices. Just let that saturate in your first, second, and third. And take a deep breath and exhale. And you'll be ready to release whatever you're ready to release. This is an ongoing process. You can do this work at home in your meditation. You can call upon Mother Mary and Archangel Raphael and the green healing ray. You can call upon Saint Germain and the violet ray, and Archangel Michael and the sapphire blue ray. You can work with the masters. They love us and they want to assist us in our soul expansion, our conscious expansion. It's through our healing that we expand our soul. And now they're taking this emerald green healing in our first, second, and third all the way down into Mother Gaia. And they're anchoring it right into the earth. experience what it feels like to be that grounded, powerfully grounded. At times we spin out our energy, and some of us are very powerful. When we spin out, we start to spin everything else out around us. It's good to be mindful of being grounded and being close to Mother Gaia, getting out in nature, putting your feet on Mother Gaia. And now as we anchor all of this healing right into Mother Gaia, now all the Divine Feminine, we join hands and hearts together to help the Divine Male heal. We together unite in love for our Divine Males. And we bring up this healing energy now. And we now transmit this love and this healing into the male wounding, into their hearts. This beautiful emerald green healing ray is now penetrating your hearts. It's saturating your blood, your tissues, your cells, your atoms, every nuance of your heart. Saint Germain comes forth with a violet flame, and he gently works with your heart, with the energy fields around your heart, to just release any protective walls, any fear matrices that have been set up, anything that's left there that, unbeknownst to you, that is not serving you in your highest. Saint Germain is working to gently release these matrices. Mother Mary and Archangel Raphael are powerfully working with this emerald green healing ray with so much love and compassion. I'm feeling this immense golden light from their love and compassion. The whole room is filled with this golden light, the walls, the ceilings, the floor. Just invite this into your hearts now. And you have the support of us, the Divine Feminine, all as sisters, supporting you and opening your heart to let you know that it's safe. It's safe to be vulnerable with us. It's safe to express your emotions. Beautiful, beautiful. Allow yourselves to become vulnerable, to drop the identity that's not even yours, if this applies to you, or maybe there's a nuance of it that applies to you. Just take in whatever you can to support you in your soul expansion, to open your heart more. We can always open our heart more and more and more. And allow ourselves to become more and more vulnerable, to shed the identities, to shed the illusion, to shed the ego, and to allow this beautiful heart opening. And now, the Divine Feminine and the Divine Male, we all hold hands in spirit together. We know that this is a new era, and this is a time now for us all to heal together and to honor one another, to be present to one another. The Divine Feminine have been very defensive with the male energy. And this is a safe time now in this new era and in our spiritual maturity to release all the defenses, all the masks, all the facades, to show our beauty and our power through our grace and our divinity, our femininity, to be expressed in this fully. This is a time of freedom for us women. It's a time of freedom for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Male to express ourselves, to not hold back, and to feel safe with one another. Take a nice deep breath in. allowing that heart to open. And just imagine for one moment, or experience, I should say, all our hearts connecting as one through our Divine Mother, Father, God. We are one with Source. We are one. There is no separation. We are individual snowflakes, and we have such beauty in each individuality. And then when we become collective again, it's just one sphere of love, of the most purest, unconditional love. Let us experience that now together. It's in this space right here, what you're feeling right now. This is how we manifest. This is how we create. When we connect with this space right now, this is where we can bring in creativity and manifest it in our 3D world. We can manifest love for ourselves. We can manifest relationships. The only thing that holds us back is ourselves. It's all the mental. The fear matrix is. None of it's real. It's all illusion. We can have anything we want. We can experience ourselves in the fullest divine potential. And we can create, and we can ask the masters to help us to create. We can call upon them to help us to create into the 3D. We're now bridging the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension and beyond. This is the new era, bringing in the Christed energy, blossoming all around us. And it's in this heart space that we can create. We're being reminded to work with them. Mother Mary and Yeshua are stepping forward now. And Mary Magdalene, they're all holding hands. And they're pouring their blessings out to all of us here. It's coming through like golden frequencies, like golden flecks of light, just pouring. Saturating all of us. It's not any one particular space. Sometimes it is, but in this case, it's all our chakras. It's everything. It's our energy fields. It's a totality of ourselves as souls. They're giving us an activation of light and of healing. And now the emerald green healing ray is saturating us. It's effervescent. It's alive. They're saying to us that this is very sacred. This circle and the space that we're holding together is very, very sacred. And they're putting their hands together like namaste to each of us. They acknowledge us and they bless us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we'll slowly start to come back into our bodies. And we can just wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers, and let's stay centered in our heart. I thank you, Divine Mother, Father God, beloved friend, omniscient, omnipresence, all that is. I thank you, beloved Jesus, Yeshua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, beloved Saint Germain, and Archangel Michael, and all our God-sanctioned guides. I thank you all for your presence, your activations, and your light, and your love. Thank you. I manifest this now through the highest levels of creation to the densest levels of Mother Earth, through the power and the glory and the love of our Creator, and through me. So be it, so mote it be, it is done. Now as we come back into our bodies, And slowly open your eyes when you're ready. And this is our natural state, what we're feeling right now, our heart opening, experiencing our souls. This is our natural state that we can draw upon at any time to help us to open our hearts more and to have more compassion for others and to connect with others. And as we heal ourselves, we heal the planet. And that's what the new era is about, the birthing of the Christ consciousness. It's about healing ourselves so that we can heal others. And I just want to mention that we're meant to join together as men and women and have joy and laughter and to feel truly connected to Earth, enjoying the simple pleasures of Earth and of being human. And I know this is something that people in the Kootenays do. They enjoy the simple pleasures. There's so many people in the world that don't even know what that is. You know, I have a lot of compassion for them.
I do.
And to experience love between men and women, divine love, true love between men and women in relationship, honoring one another, and to support one another in our weaknesses, and to have friendships with like-minded people. And that's why I'm grateful for this gathering, because I get to be with like-minded people. And I thank you very much for this opportunity to serve. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to share one thing, if I may. I had not planned on sharing this, but I would like to, if it's okay with everybody. On Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, which was 2 weeks ago or last week, I lead a 4 a.m. meditation, and I went to do it, and nobody was on the line. It's a teleconference with different people in the world get on it, and so my friend was on it. I call him my spiritual partner because we do spiritual work together. And I said, well, nobody's on the line, so I guess, I won't do it. And then he said, well, I'm on the line. So I said, okay. And so I started, and it divinely happened that way. I had no idea, because later on I found out that the facilitator of the call tried to get on the call for 15 minutes and could not. And so it was just he and I on the phone, and it was my first experience seeing Jesus. And he came through, and I could hardly believe my eyes, because I had my eyes shut, and I was, looking through my third eye. And in my third eye, I kept squinting my eyes, like, am I really seeing, I felt him many times, and I feel his presence. And he was very faint, like very far away, and there was like soft butter rays around him. And I later realized that he couldn't bring on his full force because I wouldn't be able to take it. So he softened himself for me to be able to experience him. And at first I just, you can easily just get so excited, you jump out of that still state. So I told myself, stay with it, stay with it. And he started emitting such unbelievable love. And I know a lot of you, of course, have experienced this. I have in Samadhi, when I've experienced Samadhi, just the bliss and the love. And it was just pouring out to Gil and myself. And we went through our whole experience for 2.5 hours. And Mary Magdalene and Jesus, Yeshua, worked with Gil and I. And they blessed our work. And they said that we would be doing a lot of work in the future. And, they worked with our chakras and with the Egyptian methods. And they were giving us each guidance on what we each needed to be able to expand our souls more, to do the work that we want to do. It was unimaginable. Like, I could hardly believe this happened, because it was so personal. You know, I experience this when I'm doing activations or light for others, but for it to happen like that, so personal for Gil and I, it was really amazing. And then at the very end, all of a sudden I was transported. I was in a cave. I didn't know I was in a cave, but I saw Jesus at the mouth of the cave, and then I realized I was in the back of the cave. And again, my eyes were shut. You know, this experience was 2.5 hours, and I was squinting my eyes, trying to see. He was holding something, and I just could see his profile holding something, and then I saw it was a lantern. And then all of a sudden, the lantern started getting brighter and brighter, and then the whole cave was almost like a truck flooding with lights in the cave. It was so bright. And then he said to Gil, "You will be a lamp unto others." And so I repeated that because I was channeling, repeating everything as it happened, hardly believing it was happening. But I told myself, because that's ego when your mind gets in it. So I just get out of the way, just stay with it. And then he said, and so will you, and you will also. And I didn't repeat that, because I just could hardly believe it. And then he said again, and you will also. So then I said, and I will too. And then he said, we will meet again. And he told us to have a blessed Thanksgiving. So it was just, I have to tell you that I always felt I wasn't worthy to have a presence of Jesus. I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness till I was 21 years old. And even though I knew I'm a conscious being, I know that's not true, there were some old matrices in me that said, you're not good enough for Jesus, And I have other light worker friends that do work with Yeshua and the Christed energy. And for this to be happening to me was so astounding, I just wept and wept, and I just, the love and the purity and the grace, and Mary Magdalene, oh my gosh, when she was directing me on how to work with Gil's chakras, the grace and the power, that's why I experienced that through her, and they actually set a template in Gil and a template in me, and put their hands over our crowns and said, blessed our work. So, you never know. No way in a million years would I ever imagined that this was going to happen. It's just happened 2 weeks ago, and when you just let spirit lead you and you get out of the way, get your ego out of the way, and just let spirit lead you, that's when the miracles come. That's when the receptivity opens. So thanks for letting me share that experience with you. I love you all.
Thank you, Ashley. Thanks.